Trump has put plans. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on BeeTv News at 12. My name is Harmony Agbafo and here are the top stories making the headlines at the hour. Tensions between Washington and Moscow have deepened as U.S. President Donald Trump called off a planned meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, citing stalled progress on efforts to end the war in Ukraine. The reports. U.S. President Donald Trump has put plans for a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on hold, saying he did not want to waste that meeting, while Russia refused to stop fighting along the current front line in Ukraine. Although Trump previously hinted at talks in Budapest within weeks, the White House now says there are no plans for such a summit. Trump's support for a ceasefire proposal, backed by Kyiv and European leaders, facing the conflict at existing positions, has highlighted a major divide with Moscow. Russia insists Ukraine must withdraw from eastern region and accept Russian control of the Donbass demand Ukraine and Europe have rejected and as unrealistic and unacceptable. Diplomatic momentum also slowed after a planned meeting between U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. In relation to the U.S. President, Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has come to the defense of his ambassador to the United States, Kevin Rudd, after former U.S. President Donald Trump made a dismissive remark about the diplomats during a White House meeting. The report. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has defended his country's ambassador to the United States, Kevin Rudd, after Donald Trump said he did not like the diplomats during a meeting at the White House. The comments came after Trump was reminded of several now deleted tweets in which Rudd, a former Australian Prime Minister, had criticized him years before his Washington posting. The exchange drew laughter in the room, but Albanese later dismissed it as a light-hearted banter.
Well, thanks so much, Kevin, and thank you for what you do. An outstanding. If there's a harder worker ambassador on the Hill, then please let me know and get them care.
Australia's opposition leader Susan Ley seized on the moment, calling Rudd's position untenable and urging his dismissal. However, Albanese reaffirmed his confidence in Rudd, praising his performance and influence in Washington. Reports indicated that Trump accused submarine pact between Australia, the UK and the US. Albanese credited the ambassador for the success of his U.S. visit, which included the signing of an $8.5 billion rare earth deal. Zainab Mohammed reporting for BeeTv News. At least 46 people have died and several others were injured in the multi-vehicle crash on Uganda's busy Kampala-Gulu highway, police have confirmed. The accident occurred around midnight when two buses traveling in opposite directions collided head-on while attempting to overtake a lorry and a car, triggering a chain reaction involving 4 vehicles. Authorities revised the initial death toll from 63 after discovering that some victims were unconscious but alive. The injured have been taken to hospitals in Kirandongo as police investigate the cause and warn drivers against road accidents in the country. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that India has agreed to reduce its imports of Russian crude oil following a phone conversation with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Speaking during Diwali celebrations at the White House, Trump told reporters that Modi assured him India was not going to buy much oil from Russia and wants to see the war end with Russia-Ukraine. However, Modi's public statement after the call made no mention of Russian oil, and India's foreign ministry has declined to comment. India has become one of the biggest buyers of Russian crude since Western sanctions against Moscow began in 2022, arguing that discounted prices help ensure energy security for its population. The U.S. has urged India to scale back such purchases, accusing Delhi of indirectly funding Russia's war efforts, a claim India rejects. The Trump administration has recently imposed additional tariffs on Indian goods as a penalty for buying Russian oil. Even as trade talks begin, the two countries continue. Reports suggest that India may have to agree to gradually reduce its oil imports from Russia as part of a wider deal to deepen U.S.-India energy cooperation. Residents of Eza village in Kacha local government area of Niger State are still reeling from the aftermath of a tanker explosion that claimed the lives of at least 38 people. According to reports, the fuel-laden tanker overturned on a damaged section of the Kacha A road, causing a spill. Eyewitnesses reported that some locals attempted to scoop the leaking fuel before the explosion occurred. Several other individuals sustained varying degrees of burns and are currently receiving medical treatment. Although official confirmation of the casualty figure is yet to be released, local sources reported counting approximately 40 bodies at the scene. This incident comes just months after a similar tragedy in January when a gas tank explosion in Niger State claimed at least 90 lives. Governor Umar Bago described the recent explosion as both disheartening and tragic. He condemned the recurring practice of approaching fallen tankers to scoop fuel, despite repeated public awareness campaigns on the dangers of such actions. He assured that the state government, through relevant ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, will provide necessary support to the victims and affected families. The Nigeria's Governors Forum extended its condolences to the people of Niger State, commending the efforts of emergency responders for their prompt intervention and humanitarian assistance. NGF Chairman and Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, stated that the incident serves as a grim reminder of the urgent need for improved safety measures and stricter regulations in the storage and transportation of flammable materials across the country. In further developments, the Senate has also passed the Nigerian Mines Rangers Service Bill, aimed at combating illegal mining and enhancing security within the country's mining sector. The report.
It was a busy day at the National Assembly, with senators deliberating on and passing several key bills focused on economic reform, improving institutional efficiency, and enhancing security in the extractive sector. Among them was the Nigerian Mines Rangers Service Bill, which aims to create a specialized security agency to tackle illegal mining, a problem estimated to cost Nigeria $18.9 billion each year.
In the light of concerns that we have in this country on insecurity, we took the opinion that it was very helpful that this bill be considered and passed into law.
The new service will provide specialized protection for mining sites, enforce environmental and safety regulations, investigate accidents, and promote sustainable mining practices. Meanwhile, the Senate commended the Economic and Financial Crime Commission for securing over 4,100 convictions and recovering 364 billion naira and other assets in 2024, the highest in the Commission's history. Lawmakers also applauded President Bola Tinubu for appointing a chairman under whose leadership the agency achieved such results.
Record of 4,111 convictions in the year 2020.
The amendment bill scaled second reading, seeking to remove technology from its name to make it a non-specialized institution.
The objective of this bill are to, 1, make it a conventional university, empower the university to offer courses and conduct research in all academic disciplines.
With these developments, the Senate stated that it is strengthening Nigeria's legal framework to support more robust institutions, enhance accountability, and promote a more inclusive economy. Zainab Mohammed reporting for BeeTv News.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has announced the suspension of its 2 weeks ongoing warning strike. ASU National President Professor Chris Paiwuna disclosed this during a press briefing in Abuja on Wednesday. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has announced the suspension of its ongoing 2-week warning strike. ASU's National President Professor Chris Paiwuna disclosed this during a press briefing held in Abuja on Wednesday. He explained that the decision followed an overnight meeting of the National Executive Council, which concluded at 4 a.m. According to Paiwuna, the union embarked on the warning strike in response to the government's failure to promptly address its long-standing demands. We've had constructive engagement with government representatives on the draft renegotiation of the 2009 FGN-ASU agreements. While progress has been made, much work remains. Nonetheless, we are not where we were before the strike began, he stated. Paiwuna noted that the government's return to the negotiation table, along with interventions from students, parents, and the Nigerian Labour Congress, influenced the union's decision. As a mark of goodwill and in recognition of these efforts, NEC resolved to suspend the warning strike. He said ASU has initially declared the total and comprehensive warning strike on Monday, October 13. The union's key demands include conclusion of the renegotiated 2009 FGN-ASU agreement, release of withheld 3.5 months' salaries, adequate and sustainable funding for public universities, revitalization of public institutions, end of the victimization of lecturers at LASU, Prince Abubakar Audu University, and FUTO, payment of outstanding 25 to 35% salary arrears, settlement of over 4 years of unpaid promotion arrears, release of withheld third-party deductions such as cooperative contributions and union dues. And now let's look into the business news at the hour. The House of Representatives has resolved to mediate in the ongoing disputes between the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASAN, and the Dangote refinery, which has disrupted petroleum product distribution across Nigeria. Let's join BeeTv News' Temitope Oluwafemi for more on this and more from the business news.
The decision followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance co-sponsored by lawmakers Al-Hassan Duguwa Kanu and Abdul Samad Dasuki Sokoto during Tuesday's plenary session. The motion, titled "We Need to Protect Private Investment from Adversary Unionism," emphasized the economic importance of the $20 billion Dangote refinery, the largest private petroleum refinery in Africa. The disputes, which began on sales of crude oil over 3 days and excavating fuel scarcity across the country. The House called on its leadership to mediate between the parties and urged the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, Industry, Trade and Investment and Justice to create a national framework protecting strategic private investments from unlawful union disruptions. It also requested the Federal Ministry of Justice and the NEPZA to enforce compliance with Section 18 of the NEPZA Act. 700 young professionals have graduated from the United Bank of Africa Graduate Management Accelerated Program, GMAP, reinforcing the bank's commitment to youth empowerment and leadership development across Africa. The graduation ceremony took place at the Landmark Event Center, Lagos, with attendees including UBA's Group Chairman, Tony Elumelu, Deputy Group Managing Director, Chukwuma Nweke, and other board and executive members. The program aimed to build a pipeline of future leaders within UBA and the broader financial sector. Graduates joined UBA UBA's 25,000-strong workforce and are expected to drive innovation technology, transformation, customer experience, and sustainability initiatives across the bank operations. UBA operates in 20 African countries and maintains international presence in the United Kingdom, the United States, France, and the United Arab Emirates, serving over 45 million customers globally. The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, has appealed to the federal government to suspend the 50% revenue deductions currently made at source from its internally generated revenue, citing the negative impact on airspace safety and infrastructure development. Speaking at the 54th Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Air Traffic Controllers Association in Abuja, NAMA Managing Director Ahmed Farouk highlighted funding constraints as the agency's primary challenge. The agency emphasized the deductions ranging from 30% to 50% hinders its ability to modernize aging navigational equipment and maintain critical infrastructure. NAMA stated that a suspension of or waiver of the deductions would enable
faith and hope. Let's join BeeTv News' Evelyn Izibili for more details on this and more from the entertainment world.
The actress posted photos on her Instagram page wearing a fake baby bump as part of a faith-inspired message